Welcome back to Market on Close. Qualcomm report earnings after the close today. For the quarter, the chip company is expecting adjusted EPS at $2.70 on revenue of about $10.4 billion. Now, Qualcomm's low valuation might make it an attractive buying opportunity. According to Bernstein, they cite that it currently trades at a 40% discount to the chip sector and a 50% discount to the S&P 500. Again, that's according to Bernstein. And with all of that said, it's time for Options Corner. Let's bring in Rick Ducat. He's our lead market technician here on the Schwab Network to take a look at Qualcomm's chart ahead of earnings and talk about any noticeable trends that you're seeing. Now, Rick, as far as Qualcomm's charts go, how are they looking as they head into earnings this afternoon?
Well, in the immediate today price action, not really very good. We're forming a rather large bearish engulfing candle today, meaning today's large red candle is swallowing up the previous day's smaller green candle. So more of a bearish signal, obviously, hence the name here. But it also came at a kind of an unfortunate point as well. 164, our red line on our chart there, was a previous floor and ceiling for price several times here. So this failure at this resistance level heading into earnings, not exactly what you'd want to see if you're bullish here. We do have a supportive area just below there. We've got our moving averages and an old trend line, our blue trend line there, coming together right around 158. That would be one area to watch in the near term here. Then 151, ultimately to the downside there, our green line. If you were to zoom in and take a look at our next chart here, you can also see that if we were to add volume profile, the volume profile point of control comes in at about the 158 level. So that adds a little bit further weight even to this particular area that we would see for support.
So that's really interesting that, it's down ahead of earnings because Qualcomm has only missed revenue estimates once over the last 2 years, and they usually beat by about 2.5%. So, and they are expected to grow year over year. So interesting to see that. As far as how it compares to the broader chip sector, what does it look like there?
Right. So the tech sector, it's one of the more extreme sectors in terms of the disparity between the winners and the losers. There's some really stark contrasts here. So if we take a look at our next chart, we can see the semiconductors, SMH, obviously the outperformer, the strong area here, but pretty close to tech overall. SPX, the S&P, kind of a bit lower, but still up a good deal. Qualcomm is really the problem child here in this area here. We're actually down on the year relative. And Qualcomm, what they make exactly is circuits for phones, consumer electronics, automotive systems, specifically stuff for wireless technology here. So, while they're not doing as well, other components companies like Jabil and Corning, JBL and GLW, those are the ones that are doing well. The losers are kind of hardware, Apple, HPQ, IT services as well. And to go even further then into this sector, if we were to advance to our next chart here, we can see that even within the semiconductor sector specifically, there's winners and losers that are very stark. We can see chip makers like AMD, for example, NVDA, Micron. Those are, really outperforming here. Meanwhile, Qualcomm kind of stuck in the middle. And then the big losers, solar energy, Enphase, First Solar, really just getting crushed recently here. And the whole point of why I'm saying all this is it highlights what a key factor legislative risk is right now for this sector here. It's like the ground can just shift under you when things start to change. It's a very tricky time for this sector in particular right now.
It certainly seems to be. So how is options activity today as we go into earnings?
Right. So, mostly in terms of what we're seeing here, most of the trading activity now through March on the call side, maybe 150 to 200, puts 140 to 165. If we were to think about open interest, looking at that monthly expiration here, this is not the most actively traded name, so the monthly option might give us a better picture here. Expected move at the time I did it, 147.50 or so to 174, about plus minus 8%. For the call side, our range roughly 145 to 210. The highest activity came in around 170 here. If we were to look at the put side, our next area here, it's more dispersed as well, 110 to 175. 140 was the high point in this area too. So a good bit below that expected move here for the quantity of the put open interest.
Yeah, certainly a good bit below. And did you see any notable trades on the day?
There were two really obvious standout trades here. They were done as a spread at the same time. Plus 1,000 September 19th, 160 calls, and minus 1,000 March 20, 175 calls. So altogether, it's like a $248,000 net credit. The March calls that they're selling, that was an opening trade. The other one, I'm not sure. It could be a closing trade or an opening trade. It's difficult to tell sometimes, but just presented as they are, it was a $893,000 debit versus a $1.1 million credit overall there.
Well, an interesting trade, certainly a large one. Rick, we appreciate you being with us to talk Qualcomm ahead of their earnings, which we will have live here coming up in about 21 minutes. Again, that's Rick Ducat, our lead market technician here on the Schwab Network.